Hi creative friends, this is Rhea and thank you so much for being here. So this is part 2 of me creating a spread over top of Connie Solera's Painting the Feminine art journal. And I'm so sorry, but the last part 1, it cut off abruptly, but thankfully it was towards the very end. So I really didn't lose anything. I was just gonna say, I'm gonna wrap it up type of thing. So anyway, so I'm gonna move right into part 2. Now, as I stated in my first video, the problem I'm having with this spread is that this is so different from my color field. This is so not my visual language. So the problem I'm having is I want to cover up too much of this spread, whereas the first spread I did of Connie's work, and I'll put the links in that below. That one, I was having trouble covering up the spread. I wanted to keep too much of Connie's work. And in this spread, I want to cover up too much of Connie's work because it's really not my color field, and it's not the colors that I usually use. But this is a great way for me to stretch myself, to grow, and, to just challenge myself. So I did put some colors on this palette here. There's a Cad Red Light, a pink, it's Luminous Opera by Holbein, and this is a Cad Yellow. But I don't know if I'm going to use all of those colors or not. So let me just see what I can kind of come up with here. So I do have my Posca markers, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is just make some marks because I want to kind of gringe this up a little bit. I want to mess it up and just put more of like the things that I really love on here, which are dots and circles. And in a minute, I'm going to add some orange here, because blue and orange is one of my absolute favorite color combinations. And so there's a lot of blue on here, but I don't know if the orange is going to go with the purple. I think it's going to kind of clash. So that's why I'm a bit reticent to use the orange. Now I know Connie used orange over here and over here, but she is way more skilled at using color than I am. So I don't know if I can pull it off or not. But anyways, let me see what I can do here. So I want to make the face over here blue, cerulean blue. And I just think that I'm going to go for a completely abstract figure situation here. Like, I added some earth tones to the face in part 1, but then I realized like it just wasn't going to work. And I don't even know if this blue is going to work because it's not standing out to me. It just seems like it's too blah. So I don't know if I need to maybe, I don't know. Let me just, I'll add another layer here and see if that does anything. So I'm just going to allow that to dry. And what I'm going to work on is trying to separate the figures from the background. Now, I just want to show you guys something. Let me see if I can find one of Connie's spreads here, because she is so brilliant at doing this and I am not as skilled as she is. So I'm going to show you this spread here. So this is 100% Connie's work, and she's got a cat, or a dog. It's kind of a fantasy kind of an animal, and then she's got 2 figures here. Now there's a lot of stuff going on in the figures as well as the animal, and there's also a lot of stuff going on in the background, but I can still make out that these are figures and this is the background. My general inclination would be to come in and put more of a solid background so that the figures really stand out. But she doesn't do that, and she can make it work. I am not as skilled at doing that. That is something that I have to work towards. I just think that if I had to do something like this from scratch, where I make the figures busy and the background busy, it just wouldn't work. So this might look very easy, but to me, this looks like it would be very, very difficult for me to accomplish that. And that's like the mark of a great artist to me, is like, you know, they just make it look so easy. And I'm like, okay, I know this is not easy to do. Like, I know this. Well, it's not easy for me to do. So anyways, the reason why I wanted to show you that is because my inclination is to kind of solidify the background so that the figures stand out. But I am still going to try to retain some of, you know, Connie's background, because I don't want to cover everything up. So anyways, okay, let me just work on this over here a little bit while I think about what to do with the background. Because, you know, I don't want to cover everything up of Connie's work. That would defeat the whole entire purpose of me working in a book like this. So, okay. So now I have to figure out how I am going to deal with the background. So let me see. Now, right now, you know, I can tell that these are figures here, but I think I need to like use a darker mark to differentiate the figures from the background. So even if I do cover up parts of the background and make it more solid, I still have these dark lines here. So I'm really liking that, but it's still too much of Connie here. So I've got to kind of put more of my visual language in this spread. And when I work like this, it just really teaches me so much. Like, the strange thing is, I'll do a spread like this, and then, you know, even a month or 6 months later, I will learn something from it. Like, I'll just get like an aha moment. I'll be like, oh, I'll be working on a completely different spread, and I'll be like, oh, I learned that. You know, I learned this while I was working in Connie's book. Or, you know, it's really strange how that happens. Okay, so I'm kind of liking this, like, I'm kind of liking this moon here type of situation. So I think I'm just going to make it a solid blue for now. And so I do want to use this orange, but I have to be really careful about where I apply it, because I just think it's going to clash with the purple. So let me see here. Maybe I'm going to mix some with the pink so it's not so orangey. I don't know. Actually, I think that made it even more orangey. Okay, you know, I think I'm just going to kind of... Now, I do like that. That is not too bad at all. I do like that. So let me try to add it on a blue, something else that's blue, and keep it away from the purple. And I just think that I need to add something to lift this up here. It's looking a bit too subdued for me. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some of my purpley pink here. And I'm wondering if I can retain some of this orange for the hair. Okay, let me see here what I can do. So I am really loving the orange against the blue there. So I think what I'm going to try to do is bring some of that into other parts of the face here. And maybe even like over here. And since this is going to be like a completely abstracted face, maybe like over there as well. And so now I have to figure out what do I want to do over here. And I think I'm going to bring in a yellow because Connie did use some, excuse me, she did use some yellow. So I think I'm going to kind of try to bring in that yellow. Now I'm going to have to put a few coats because it is going to turn green, and I want to retain a yellow. I don't want to make it green because there's quite a lot of green on here. So I think in order to lift this up, I need to keep this yellow. So that's going to require maybe a few coats. And now I really am loving this part over here that Connie did. It reminds me of, you know, the scales of a fish, and I really love that. So I'm going to keep that. I think I'm going to keep that. And I'm wondering if I can bring in some of the yellow here. So I think I am going to leave this for now. And I know it looks very kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, but that's totally fine. I still need to figure out the background and how to resolve the background issue. I'm not really liking this circle over here. I did when I first put it, but now I don't like it at all. And I've lost some of the circles. So there are some issues that I need to resolve here. So I think what I'm going to do is just let this completely dry, and maybe I just want to cover this green part up here. It's kind of like not sitting well with me. So maybe just cover that up. Okay, you guys, so I am going to leave this alone for a few days, and then I'm going to come back to it. So this is the end of part 2 of working in my Painting the Feminine art journal. And if you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.